All right, Anthony Speciale here with AnthonySpeciale.com, Speciale Analysis. Hope you all are having a wonderful day. Want to kind of break down our session so you have a little feel for the way that we operate. So we get together every morning around 8 a.m. Start to take a look at the markets pre-market, kind of decide what direction things are heading in, look for opportunities in those directions. So we define, of course, the trend, and then we define opportunities within the trend. So I want to share some of those with you that transpired today. What you're looking at here in the top left, and I will enlarge it to the size of the screen here, is light sweet crude oil. So you can see market was bouncing along here, made a double top basically, and then started to roll over. We created what we call our opening range. This is when the market consolidates, or we mark off the area of the first 15 minutes of the market, and we typically use that area as either support or resistance. In this case, it turned out to be resistance. So you can see we closed below here, retraced, came back in, made a confirmation right here. All our fast moving averages are pointing to the downside. Our 15-minute moving averages pointing to the downside. Our VWAPs both pointing to the downside. And as you can see, price actions moving to the downside. MACD pushing lower, selling volume increasing. Here's the move. So you could have entered here on the retest. You could have entered here, place your stop either here, advanced it to here. Once things started to move along here, target one was at a daily pivot, which I have marked off by this black dashed line. We had multiple support structures hand drawn right here. Weekly pivot marked off by this orange dashed line. Another support structure, which you can see price action had stopped that for just a quick second before pushing through another daily structure. So all in all, fairly decent size move here. Even if we measure it off of the initial breakdown to the low of this candle that was just placed here, you got about 262 ticks. That's a pretty huge opportunity. You only need a little bit of that to make yourself a super nice living. So that was the only opportunity there on light sweet crude. Taking a look at the NASDAQ here, you can see the NASDAQ broke out of its opening range right here. Okay, we got a little bit of jobs data came into the market right here. Don't necessarily like to trade on the news because it can create a big bit of volatility. You can see the market was also very tight. The dots represent the 15-minute moving averages, and you can see that there was a bunch of indecision here. But when we closed outside of the opening range right here, all three fast moving averages were in sync, pushing higher. They should look like a ribbon, two edges and a center line. 15-minute moving averages both pushing higher, VWAPs both pushing higher, and ultimately the market did go from the opening range to the weekly pivot overhead. So all in all, from the initial close outside of the opening range to the weekly pivot, 321 ticks. Again, ridiculous living right there can be made off of just that price action. So S&P, super sloppy. Let's talk about it. It did break outside of its opening range here. It did pull back through ultimately to push back outside through the top. Now the Nasdaq typically leads the S&P. When this was transpiring, the Nasdaq was still in its opening range. So I prompted my members and said, "Hey, listen, this doesn't really feel great because we don't know what the Nasdaq's going to do. If the Nasdaq pushes higher, it's likely to pull the S&P with it. If the Nasdaq pushes lower, it's likely to take the S&P with it." So, with that statement being made, I would not jump on the close below the opening range of the S&P purely based on what the Nasdaq's doing. So, had you blindly shorted this, which most people would have done had they not been instructed to do otherwise, they likely lost money. But because we knew what to look for, when to look for it, we held off on entering this position simply because our experience told us that if the Nasdaq was not going to cooperate, it was likely a false breakout, and that's ultimately what it turned out to be. And the last market we look at here is gold. So gold had a couple opportunities here. Big spike and surge off of the jobs market report right here, but The market then consolidated here. So if I drew a line kind of around this little consolidation base here, the market built a base. This is called basing. As the market broke out of its base, you could have purchased the market here and rode it on its way up here to its daily pivot. So that was the first opportunity we discussed in gold, breaking out of this base here and then following through to target number one. Then we created the opening range, which is represented by the box here on the screen. Of course, we got a break of the opening range here to the top side. We had a little pullback. And ultimately, we did push a little bit higher here. It didn't follow through nearly as efficiently as the NASDAQ did. But, all in, ran about 42 ticks. So definitely some at least first profit taking opportunities, advancement of stop. But it did not follow through. You can see right here, price action broke the 21 EMA. So you can see 21, 13, 8 EMAs all trending higher. Again, that what I call a ribbon effect. There should be two edges and a center line. Respected the edge and the center line here, continued to push higher, but we lost that right here. So we closed below the 21 EMA, and then the market ultimately went sideways. We're still above the opening range, but we're just kind of hovering here sideways. So the likelihood is, as the NASDAQ took that heavy pull higher, it just kind of stalled things out on the gold market. So that's kind of a recap, short term of what we did today. So we studied these four markets, and within these four markets, we find opportunities that look like the ones I just discussed with you. I openly talk about each of these opportunities. I mark them off for you with arrows. The arrows are not a blind buy or sell the market here. They are simply, hey, let's have a conversation about this particular area, and then we can make an educated decision about this particular area. So don't think that they're, blind buy and sell signals. They are absolutely not. They are simply, hey, we're good. We're just identifying where we're having a conversation of potential opportunity. But things did transpire well today. I want to take a moment, shoot this video. It's short, sweet, share it with you. Listen, if you are trading and you want to just work with a group of people, or you want to hang out with us in the morning, join. Listen, it's $149 a month. It's $2.49 an hour. I am live with you for 60 hours a month. So it's Monday through Friday, 8 to 11. If you're brand new to trading and you just want to start somewhere, listen, fire up a paper trading account, fire up a simulated account, join us and see if it's a right fit for you. What's the risk? $149 to find out if it is or isn't for you. You'll never know unless you try. Most of my clients are traders who have been trading for a while, and they fail to find consistency. Sometimes they get lucky, sometimes they don't. Those are the traders that I'm able to help go from trying to work off of luck to trying to build consistency by helping them identify certain things in the market that are high probable, lower risk, and give them the opportunity then to act upon it should they so desire. So I just want to, again, you're invited. I leave the room open to anybody and everybody who wants to partake. I do not have a limitation on your skill level. So again, if you're brand new, yes, it's going to be over your head for a couple weeks, but stick around, start absorbing information, start asking questions. I do offer a jumpstart program, which is going to include a video tutorial of all the tools we use, why we use them, what they're used for, how the entire process works. Also going to give you some checklists so you can look at the strategy, look at the opening range, look at the odds enhancers, find what ultimately works best for you. So don't think that you got to come in this blind and just figure it out. I will give you the support tools you need in order to, fast track you into understanding what's going on and then being able to take advantage of all of that. So God bless. Hope you have a wonderful day. Look forward to working with you. Have a good one. Anthony Speciale here, signing out.